Dave. Good morning, everybody. This is for broadcast Saturday, October 18. And you can skip ahead about 12 minutes. Then we get started into the radio show side of things. Until then, just hooking up here for the stations to be able to get on and get the audio set and make sure everything's feeding through correctly. So there you have it. Mr. Turnus, good morning. This is the weekend. Cavs are going to be gone by tomorrow afternoon. Man. Morning, Brian. Good morning, Magic Mike. Good to have you along here this morning. Dave, good morning. Okay. I'm just going through all my stuff here. Yeah. Got one more day of antelope hunting, so good luck to you. Karen, good morning. Morning. Wayne is back. Pagel, good morning. See you here in a little while. Clay, good morning. What was I going to say? That's something. I don't know what the hell I was going to say. Oh, Ryan, if you show up before I get out of the house here, I'll grab my horse. Oh, I was going to check the weather is what I was going to do. It's going to be windy today to round up. Okay. Thank God we just got the that section and a quarter to go through. But I'm guessing they're going to be tucked into the draws. Yeah, 9 a.m. is when the wind really hits. Okay, awesome. Why wouldn't it? 20:30 by 2 o'clock. I think we could get that rounded up in an hour and a half maybe. I think 1 inch in 15 the last couple of days. We had I think, it was like a 3-day little. There was one day we had over an inch, but then the two opposite of that day, I think total we got about 1.5 inches out of that stuff that came through here too. So yeah, it's nice. Definitely. I had about 1.5 inches over in the Morristown area with that last, yeah. Talk about some nice fall moisture. And things, if you go out in the pastures, you look down, the grass, it is still green underneath. And that's rare in my area. Anybody that was putting in like winter rye or winter forage wheat or any of that stuff, man, you're going to have a nice catch to start things out with that. Hold off the snow for after next week and I'll get back from Watford City. Yeah. I've got my small group of pears I'm throwing into corral here tonight. Tomorrow I'll sort them early, get Jesse on the trip to auction market with that one. We're going to round up the big group and hopefully get those sorted off and thrown in. And then that's where I'll be here. Bring the cows back and should be ready to go. Very green here too, usually. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Where are we at? 6:58. 6:59 stations on mark. If that helps you. Or the delay. Next weekend gun show in Watford. Text me a flyer if you have a flyer or a picture of that flyer there, Mr. Gene. I can see what that looks like. It's chilly in this little room. rained all day on Wednesday when I was helping one of the neighbors ship. That was getting a little greasy to get the trailers out of there. All right, station 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central Time, which is coming up here. Check the delay on the old YouTuber here on Mark. Let's see what old Wayno. Let's turn that down for you.
Good morning.
Greetings and salutations.
Yes, and to you as well. I get up this morning and I look out and it's dark out. I'm not used to that. Usually it's times are changing fast here. Holy cow.
I know.
Man.
Yeah.
You got a little wind out your way?
Yep.
Yeah, it's supposed to be windy here today too. Yeah.
Wind, I got to get the small group in today, get them in corralled up, and then the big group is rounded up tomorrow and ship calves.
Are you selling cows too or just calves?
Cows will be in November.
Oh, are you?
Unfortunately,
selling just downsizing or?
Unfortunately, came to the conclusion that I'm not the guy that my father-in-law wants here. So,
ooh, that's not promising to hear from my part. I think you do a great job out there, I would think, and help him along a lot from what I see. That's for sure.
Yeah. On to the next, right? Morning. Yeah. Eric says, good morning. Mr. Bolgi, good morning. Jay's texting. Question is, will the brilliant plan to lower beef prices affect live prices? It did in the futures. My question is, where the hell are representatives for beef associations to support us? Silence on their end. Yeah. Yeah. Trump making that comment about lowering beef prices sure as hell didn't help me selling on Monday morning. That's for damn sure.
Who did the futures go down?
Yeah. Just by that comment.
Really? Yeah. I don't know if that will really is going to impact it though. You know, there's still that market that's out there. There's not enough cattle out there on the landscape and such. So you wonder if it's going to impact it a dramatic amount at all.
Well, so Rowdy Benson of Lemon Livestock had a live post here. Was it a week ago or so? He discussed that, you know, and he kind of thinking like a lot of us in this area that are in the business going, we hear that the number of cattle are down, right? And then he says, you know, in this area, North, South Dakota, anywhere in the upper Midwest, show me anybody that has extra pasture. Because nobody around this area has any extra pasture. The cattle numbers are so low that we're looking for people to bring cattle in. You know, so I agree with him. You know, the prices are what they are, but it's not because of the lack of cattle up in the upper Midwest. That's for damn sure. You know, Scott Bolgi says locked limit down, but Fort Pierre didn't reflect it. Well, let's hope Bowman livestock doesn't reflect, and let's hope the hell November 21st cow sale doesn't reflect it either.
Well, when we went through on our way to Texas and back, when we went through Nebraska, especially Nebraska, some in Kansas, those feedlots down there are huge.
They're
my
giant.
Goodness.
Yeah, they're huge.
There's the one I looked up and Judy was researching on it. They have up to 100,000 head at this one feedlot down there, and it was stretched out over, looks like a section of land with pens and such. It was pretty impressive, actually.
Oh, those, you know, if you want a horse that's seen it all except a big open country, you can buy those feedlot horses. You want to talk about being able to rope and drag and run gates and go through and I mean, that's all they do. I mean, that's a full-time job all day for some of these people. And
I'll bet.
Unfortunately, they're not as easy on the big country. Like they're not used to being out of a pen. So
sure.
Tim says, I'm hearing from city slickers complaining retail prices are too high and they're eating more chicken and pork. But that's, chicken and pork also went up a little bit too. I mean, it kind of followed suit, not probably as much. I know beef is high, but
Yeah.
I'll keep eating it damn straight. I mean, I I guess, I haven't been to a grocery store and bought beef. So
Hmm.
I don't know that side of it, but I've been to restaurants and I understand that that's definitely expensive.
Well, and I think that's the key. Is I think like when we buy beef, we will, we watch for sales or something in that nature, and you buy it at a little reasonable rate. Well, that's not going to reflect on what the ranchers and farmers are getting. It's that middleman that's really taking the gouge out of this
Yeah.
as well.
Well, they put all
So,
of our input costs that we have to put into these critters to get them to sale day too
mhm.
but anyway, we have 30 seconds here. Wayne, I'm going to turn you down
Okay.
here. Stations, 20 seconds to showtime on Mark. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors, heard all across the Dakota territory on great radio stations like KGFX in Pierre, South Dakota, KOLY, the fishing capital in Mobridge, South Dakota, K-Fire 550, of course. They're celebrating their 100 years in the radio business here in Bismarck, Mandan, KCJB 910 Minot, and, of course, the Western Edge, KLTC and 106.9. Good to have you along all across there. And also everybody watching on my YouTube channel, listening on there as well. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. It's interesting if you don't hear my pre-show on my YouTube channel, where the radio stations take the feed from. You hear it when we start here, but I got Wayne Muth, not only a Pope and Young scorer here, Outdoor Magazine contributor, a semi-pro cowboy mounted shooter at this point. Right, Wayne? I mean, you got everything going on here for you. And not only that, but we were talking beef prices, right?
Yes.
And so we started out, and one of the questions my buddy's listening over in the Montana side, and he's like, hey, he says, what do you think? Donald Trump came out yesterday, made a comment about beef prices, and the futures reflected immediately, but hopefully the sale barns won't reflect it, at least because I'm shipping tomorrow. so we I hope they're not going to reflect that, because the prices are looking good for calves right now. And we were discussing, well, the inventory is low because that's what the USDA says. Across the country, there's less female cattle in the country than there has been since 50 years or whatever they said. And
Mhm.
I was talking about Rowdy Benson, that's running Lemon Livestock Auction, right? And he had a great little post that he put on Facebook, if you guys want to look it up, explaining. He says, there's no extra grass in the Dakota territory. Everybody's running pretty much at full inventory around this area. So where is it happening? Where is it going to affect the prices? Where is it going to go? And it spurred a lot of interest here across the board here, and a lot of text messages and everything. But Gene Cox, the mayor says, beef is high, and Tim says more people are eating chicken and pork because of the beef prices. And the mayor says, deer and pheasant are expensive, but people still go hunting, right?
That's
I mean,
right.
you look at what you can put into an elk hunt. It's not that cheap to go and do everything. So,
Yep, that's exactly right. Good morning, Scott. You're exactly right. Gene's exactly right. When you look at what a walleye would cost you for going out fishing after you buy your boat and your truck and everything, and people still get out there and do that. So I think it's something that people are going to buy anyway. I think if like I mentioned, watch for the sales of the beef and take advantage of those if you need to. Yeah, it's part of our culture to eat beef, and I think we'll continue to do that. And just hopefully that market doesn't overcorrect itself and hurt you guys too much, especially you now that you're selling your calves.
Yeah. It was like they could have waited until like the end of the year to make this statement. Would have been great. I'm just getting plenty of things. Futures went down as investment managers took profits because of those statements. Didn't have any effect on the live markets, but they'll see how this plays out starting Monday. Big issue on the supply chain, and nationwide numbers say demand is actually up for the beef with a lower supply. So until there's an actual change in that, prices should stay stable, which I'm looking at that. Plus, I'm also looking at this too. People are like, I thought we were supposed to talk about hunting and fishing. We'll get into it, but you got to remember when you'd have an outdoor show, the beef into the farmers and ranchers of the Dakota Territory is what makes hunting available for a lot of us. So it all goes together.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm looking at right now is some of these feedlots that you were saying when you went down through Texas, some of these feedlots that you see in Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Texas area, they're giant. I mean, they're huge, huge. So they're feeding thousands and thousands of cattle, getting them up to the weight that, the processors want to get to. But right now, you look at the feed price right now, like especially corn, corn is down quite a bit. So, I mean, it is cheaper to feed those cattle than it was 3 years ago. So maybe that's going to hold off and help with the prices too. But there you go.
Yeah, the input costs are coming down a little bit for those producers the way it looks. I mean, we're not sure what all they are putting into it, but seeing those big feedlots down in Nebraska was just eye-opening to me because I've never seen a feedlot that had 100,000 head of cattle on it before.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Tim says in his area of eastern North Dakota, pasture is being torn up so the plow jockeys can grow corn and soybeans. And what you see, you're going to see some of that. I mean, the cash price for good ground. I mean, in eastern North Dakota, eastern South Dakota, that's good growing soil over there. It's not like the Badlands out this way. Josh says hunting is expensive, but it's no fun to go to the grocery store to buy meat when you can spend time out in the wild and enjoy what good Lord has brought out there. So that's a good way too. And not only that, but maybe you need to find a rancher friend or somebody and say, hey, I'll just buy it directly from you and take it to the processor.
Right.
You could do that too.
And what Tim said is true. And you got to think there's many more subsidies on the farming side than it is on the ranching side. So sometimes it's a little bit easier to do that than, have the ranching aspect and relying primarily on the markets and that aspect. Yeah. So,
and you gotta make those relationships no matter what business you're in at this point. Unless you're like a gamer, I don't know if you need a relationship. So there's professional people that play. I just heard this the other day that there's people like ages like 30s and their 40s, even in their 50s, that are professional gamers, and you can get paid to do this. Wayne, is this true?
Yeah, that apparently, yes, that is. I mean, they play these games and they have people watch them. People will actually go on and watch them play a video game online. And I'm thinking, my goodness, there's not enough for these kids to do out there.
Does Duck Hunt? That's the last game I played.
Hey, we should do that. Maybe we got to start doing that. We'll play the Duck Hunt or the big games or something.
Well, so there was a glitch in Duck Hunt on that old system where you could aim in a certain point of the hill in the back and hit every duck, even though you weren't aiming at them. And so I could go 100% for that stuff, man. So,
yeah, there you go.
It's good stuff when people are responding to that online here. So, well, anyway, cattle prices, hopefully, for all the people that are still having to sell, I hope the prices stay good for them. I really do. Input costs were definitely higher. So if there's a few people that came through elk hunting about 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, Wayne, and they came in and they asked for permission to get north and on some federal stuff, and they asked and they pulled up their maps. They're like, what have you been seeing? And I like when they ask it that way. And I told them, I said, well, what I've been seeing, they've been coming out of this draw and this draw, but the neighbor still has corn and they're going onto that private land. So if I were you, he says, well, I talked to your neighbor, but they're still, it's private land and they didn't really. The next day they said, yeah, we contact neighbor. Then we found a nice elk up there. So I said, that's all it takes. Just call, talk to people and go that route. So, but
that's what it takes. Yeah.
But I found something on social media and we're getting up close to the break here. And I'm going to preface this by getting in, and it's called Data Hunt Guide. Have you had this pop up on your social media?
I have not. No.
Okay. I researched it very minimally, but we're gonna come back. We're gonna discuss this as kind of a system that you can download that gives you like heating, like thermal track areas where animals are moving to help you know where to go in that unit. We'll discuss that. Wayne, stay with us here. We'll have more coming up. And the phone lines are always open. 888-932-5682 is the toll-free number. That's 888-9-DAKOTA. And you can text as well. We'll be back right after these messages.
Join Piper's Auctioneers for these incredible Piper's exclusive land auctions. On October 16th, Piper's will offer 633 acres of grazing land in Fallon County. Offered in a single parcel, it features incredible native grasses, good perimeter fence, and natural stock dams, pipeline water, and Cabin Creek. Piper's will also offer over 2,500 acres of grassland, hayland, and hunting land in Bowman and Slope counties on December 10th. Located near Marmouth on the edge of the Badlands with excellent grazing and incredible wildlife habitat along Little Beaver Creek. All auction details and online bidding can be found at pipers.com.
I'm Dale Falke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where local banking is as comfortable as your favorite pair of work boots. Step into our branches and experience a friendly atmosphere, personalized service, and financial expertise. Whether you're a hardworking farmer, a small business owner, or a local resident, we've got the banking solutions that you need. So kick off your boots and let us take care of your financial needs at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, BowmanLivestockMarketing.com. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schriefer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran-owned and operated.
For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing because we understand the business of creating relationships is more than an interest rate. Agriculture is the foundation to the community, and we are here to help your operation expand, grow, and continue to the next generation. Talk to our ag lending team today.
Community looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Join Piper's Auctioneers for these incredible Piper's exclusive land auctions. On October 16th, Piper's will offer 633 acres of grazing land in Fallon County. Offered in a single parcel, it features incredible native grasses, good perimeter fence, and natural stock dams, pipeline water, and Cabin Creek. Piper's will also offer over 2,500 acres of grassland, hayland, and hunting land in Bowman and Slope counties on December 10th. Located near Marmouth on the edge of the Badlands with excellent grazing and incredible wildlife habitat along Little Beaver Creek. All auction details and online bidding can be found at pipers.com.
Don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody, to Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition on it's going to probably be a breezy Saturday here. Still a nice day. Oh, Wayne Muth is my guest here. Wayne, we finished up the first quarter talking about something I've been finding popping up on my social media thing. And the issue with this is I have not researched it very much, but the little bit of clip that social media plays says this is, if people want to look this up, it's datahuntguide.com. And from what I'm guessing and from what they're explaining, according to the website, is they use some type of thermal or heat tracks across the wherever you're hunting. You can pick your state, you can pick your animal, pick your unit, and then for a fee like $100, $200 or whatever it is, they will send you the information and maps with like heat sources of where these animals are moving. And they're I don't know how they're tracking them. I don't know what it is, but it says you see your animal or you get 100% of your money back. And you started looking it up a little bit. What do you think?
Well, it's really interesting. So this is one of the comments that they had on their website. He said, we've created a unique machine learning algorithm that scrapes the entire internet to find public sightings of animals. Then they deliver it in a form of a heat map with exact coordinates so you know where most of the animals reside. So they're scraping the internet for sightings, and then they're putting it into a form of heat map on their app, and shows where most of these animals are in different colors. Like red is really concentrated, and then it goes to yellow, green, and blue. They showed an example here. Kind of interesting. I'm not sure. I mean, they say it's accurate.
Okay.
They usually update their data once per year, depending how often they get new updates.
Okay. So by going through that,
artificial
intelligence is, I'm guaranteeing, being used for this. So they're scrubbing the internet with people that maybe, if you drop an animal and you take a picture with your cell phone and you upload that,
right.
There is information within that photo that you can get that has location, timestamp, and everything else involved in that.
Yes.
Unless you shut that off on your phone in your settings, that's attached to that photo its lifetime on the internet. And there are people, well, I guess it's AI now, that can go in there and scrub that. So that makes a little bit more sense if people are doing that. Now you wonder if you ever want to take a photo of where you actually dropped a nice big elk or wherever. And because I mean, there's some places that, look at the fishermen out there, anglers.
Yeah.
There's certain spots, I had a good buddy that used to have a radio show that would give coordinates on Lake Sakakawea where the fish are biting. And other anglers were mad at him for doing that. Like, don't tell people where we're fishing. Right. And that might turn into that. That's interesting the way that works.
Yeah, it is. And the only thing is, if it's only updated once per year, and I mean, is it accurate? Is it, I mean, when you look at mule deer, for example, mule deer migrate and elk migrate. Elk move from here to there. So we see that same thing in our areas. If in the fall, early fall in September, when I'm hunting, I'm going to hunt certain areas that I'm not going to be hunting in November because the deer aren't going to be there in November. So I think that's going to be a little challenge if it's only taken once a year, and it's kind of a conglomerate of information just piled in. So it would be interesting to get a sample of this and see how it works. and go from there. Maybe you should call a company like you did.
I emailed
have them do that. Have them give you a free sample, and then you go out and see how this is effective. We can talk about it more another time on the radio.
So
give them a plug.
So here's the thing. Okay, I'll have them on and ask them questions, but I'm not the person to take free stuff. I started my radio program with some companies that did that, and then they got really, really upset when I said, well, this doesn't work. And I gave a true, honest review on my radio program, and they got a little bit upset about that. They're like, hey, if we're going to give you free stuff, you got to talk it up. You can't talk it down. I'm like, well, I don't work that way. So I would pay. I think I haven't even looked into this here, how you can find it. It says you got to pick your animal, pick your state. So let's pick area. Let's go elk. All right. And pick your state. Well, of course, North Dakota's not on there because you can't get an out-of-state tag for that. All right. So like Wyoming, to get that elk hunting packet will cost me about $200, about the same for every state. So,
sure.
I don't know. Maybe it's worth the $200 to try to go find it, but I hopefully they'll respond to me. We'll have them on one of these Saturdays and we'll see what it's like. But I just wanted your idea because, like we said off air, if this is true and it's scrubbing places and this works like this, how is this ethical hunting?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of holes in this the way it looks, because when you start zooming in, these spots get smaller and smaller, and I'm not sure how accurate it'll be, but there again, I don't know that much about it. We'll have to investigate it further, I suppose.
Yeah. But they say North and South Dakota is not available for elk, deer, or antelope on this site, which, I mean, I can see that because of it's difficult to get tags in the state if you're a non-resident. I think this is really based for non-resident is what it looks like for me.
Sure. Exactly.
Gene says, my concern from what I'm hearing, techno hunters will start to flood the draw areas and push locals out. North Dakota just saw this issue with landowner tags. Boy, we're going to have a second half of the hour. We'll talk about that. But you had an interesting little tidbit here. We only got a few minutes before the second break here, but we can start talking about this on some of the articles that you've been researching and some that you've been writing on how bigger deer are coming around the Dakota Territory and across other areas. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah. Last year in one of my articles, I had written that when a doe has a low birth weight fawn, that fawn will have a smaller rack throughout its entire life. So then I started thinking about that, about the contralateral side of that, the other side of it, saying, hey, well, what about these does that are coming in healthy? So Boone and Crockett had some research out there. There's a Kevin Monteith. He's a researcher, and he has some great information about when does are healthy coming through the winter. You've had an easy winter. There's a lot of forage on the land. She's healthy. Her fat layer is really good, so she doesn't have to put a lot into her body. And she's full grown. She's not growing anymore. So this is maybe a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old does and up. They are giving the fawn all their nutrients. So this fawn is coming out with great nutrients, and they're going to have larger racks, and they're going to carry that larger rack, genetic or trait throughout their whole year. And we have to remember, there's 3 things that really contribute to large racks, large antlers. And that's age, genetics, and nutrition. So when you get these animals that already have a good genetic trait or a good nutritional trait that they can have big racks every year, now you let them age, you let them get to that 3.5, 4.5, 5.5-year-old range, and they should have a great rack. So now we start thinking about, let's look at some snowfall in our areas and say, okay, when were the easy years in the past few years, and where these does would have been coming through that were really healthy. And if you look at like 20 and 21, I think we had, smaller or less snowfall. Now these deer are getting to be 4.5 years old this year. So is this a year that you're going to find a lot of big bucks out there? And we've been seeing a lot of big bucks, posted.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing some good bucks. Levi was out with us. We were doing some elk hunting for my brother-in-law, and we saw a couple of real nice bucks out there too. So there's some nice bucks out there, and you see them every year. But this year seems to be a little bit different, and maybe is it because of the easy winter a few years ago, and now these deer are getting to that age. They're getting to that mature age that they are having these big antlers because they can grow them because of their nutritional status.
Well, I tell you what, Wayne, we're up against a break, and it's a good way to come out of it because we're going to be talking that, and it just kind of blends together with everything we're discussing, and we have to catch up on some of the text messages too. So stay with me. Coming up your way, more from Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition right after these messages.
Join Piper's Auctioneers for these incredible Piper's exclusive land auctions. On October 16th, Piper's will offer 633 acres of grazing land in Fallon County. Offered in a single parcel, it features incredible native grasses, good perimeter fence, and natural stock dams, pipeline water, and Cabin Creek. Piper's will also offer over 2,500 acres of grassland, hayland, and hunting land in Bowman and Slope counties on December 10th. Located near Marmuth on the edge of the Badlands with excellent grazing and incredible wildlife habitat along Little Beaver Creek. All auction details and online bidding can be found at pipers.com.
I'm Dale Falke with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, where local banking is as comfortable as your favorite pair of work boots. Step into our branches and experience a friendly atmosphere, personalized service, and financial expertise. Whether you're a hardworking farmer, a small business owner, or a local resident, we've got the banking solutions that you need. So kick off your boots and let us take care of your financial needs at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schrieffer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Western Frontier Insurance, agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or talking animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered with price in mind. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, Wilton, Bowman, and Hettinger. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran-owned and operated.
For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing because we understand the business of creating relationships is more than an interest rate. Agriculture is a foundation to the community, and we are here to help your operation expand, grow, and continue to the next generation. Talk to our ag lending team today.
Community looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
Join Piper's Auctioneers for these incredible Piper's exclusive land auctions. On October 16th, Piper's will offer 633 acres of grazing land in Fallon County. Offered in a single parcel that features incredible native grasses, good perimeter fence, and natural stock dams, pipeline water, and Cabin Creek. Piper's will also offer over 2,500 acres of grassland, hayland, and hunting land in Bowman and Slope counties on December 10th. Located near Marmouth on the edge of the Badlands with excellent grazing and incredible wildlife habitat along Little Beaver Creek. All auction details and online bidding can be found at pipers.com.
Don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, across the Dakota Territory and great stations. You won't find any better than they're playing right here, right now. And tell you what, Aaron, Wayne Muth is my guest here, and we have some pretty good discussion about the health of deer and growing bigger racks. And a text message comes in, says, quick question for you, Wayne. What causes a whitetail to not shed its velvet sometimes?
Well, actually, some of that is primarily from EHD.
Yep.
From EHD from the prior year. So, for example, they're having some EHD in the central and southwest part of the states, and hunters can actually get refunds on their licenses this year in certain units. So what EHD does, it creates a fevers they get bitten by the midge, and they get a fever, they get increased temperature, and that increased temperature causes the testicles to atrophy. They shrink up. So those testicles cannot release enough testosterone for that buck to shed its velvet. So they will hold that velvet sometimes, all year long. And actually they'll get to the point where they may not even shed their antlers. So we've seen, like last year, I saw bucks in January that were in velvet. You've seen bucks throughout the fall that were in velvet. They get the really soft racks. If you shoot a deer,
like styrofoam,
they're spongy. So, and what happens is they don't lose their velvet, and they don't even lose their antlers at times. So the next year, when they start growing those antlers, they grow around the base of that antler into that kind of that rush buck, that cactus buck look. Yeah. So that's where you get some of those cactus bucks looks from. And I scored a buck last year that was just exactly that typical thing. He had very small testicles. He had a nice big, what looked like a typical 3-point rack, but all the garbage underneath and the stickers and such made it look real cool and made him look like actually a pretty interesting trophy. But that's the reason. EHD normally, if he's not a high fence jumper, maybe that would cause it too.
Yeah.
He may get caught, catch his little junk on the fence or something and injure him or so,
Get him pinched in the barbed wire, huh? Yeah.
They say white man can jump, well, whitetails can jump. So some of the reasons, but
okay.
Yeah, and you had Benny Paulson on to start this segment. Benny, his music is so good. I have to really compliment him. We love going to watch him, and he's going to be here at the Venue 25 in November for Claire Greiner is having a fundraiser. She is in Miss North Dakota Rodeo.
Rodeo, yeah.
And,
Rodeo Queen.
And she's going to Vegas to compete down there, so they're having a little fundraiser for her there. So
good.
Benny will be there, I heard. Yeah. So that is cool. Yeah.
Another text comes in, and this is an interesting take on the North Dakota baiting issue. Yeah, this is another reason we're seeing bigger deer being harvested this year is that baiting is legal again. So the quality of whitetails that have been increasing over the past years since the ban, now that 140-inch buck that may have survived previously because are now venturing into piles of corn and getting taken, which is a different take. I mean, I could see that sometimes too. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have to remember that in the eastern part of the state, a lot of those units out there you could bait beforehand too.
Right.
There's just a few of them that you couldn't. So I think to a certain extent that is true, but I just think that there's that this year is a good year for deer. It's going to be. I think that this healthy does dropping healthy fawns and letting them grow to be 3.5 and 4.5-year-old bucks are going to produce some really good racks. So let's see what that shapes up to be this fall after the gun season, and I'll go from there. Because you look at our moose and our elk. Man, there's some big moose being taken constantly in this state, and great elk being taken. And we've had some easy weather the last couple of years too, and that's helping. And I think that what I've read and understood is that elk will kind of push out some of the mule deer for their feeding grounds, and that may impact the mule deer a little bit too for population numbers. So can we correlate that for when our mule deer population started dropping and our elk population started increasing? I mean, do you see that in your area, that there's less mule deer and more elk?
Well, we do, and but I think some of it was EHD, if 3-4 years ago too, that affected the health of those deer. And they say it doesn't affect mule deer, but it sure made them look pretty ugly and pretty sickly. Yeah. So another question comes in from it's a follow-up question from the whitetail that didn't shed its velvet. They says he looks healthy, been around since July. Is he still good to eat?
They say that I've not heard that he shouldn't, that you can't eat them or shouldn't eat them. The only thing is that Game and Fish Department will say is if they look sickly. If they look sickly, then don't eat them. But normally with EHD, these animals, they die on a very, very quickly. It doesn't take long. Within 72 hours or a couple days, they usually die from EHD because they get into a heat and they go to water. Sometimes they'll even be in the water. They'll drown. They die right next to the shoreline. But I have not heard that there is an issue with it.
Another comment: with all the moisture and great forage and softer winter last year, there's just more healthy deer, helping with the results of better antler growth. And I'm trying to get to all this here. Brian says, and this was when we were talking about that data hunt, and showing different areas where you should focus your hunting on and everything. And we were saying, how ethical is that? I mean, is it that information you're paying $200 for that information? And in my mind, why wouldn't you walk up to the local landowner and give him $200 and say, hey, where would you send me? I mean, it's just right. Yeah. Keep it local instead of a company. But anyway, Brian Warner says, and some people are complaining about a crossbow. We can't even get people that want to use crossbow and people that want to use recurve bow and regular cam bows or whatever. They can't even get along. So it's
right.
Yeah, it's interesting there.
And one of the things that whoever mentioned about the good crops and everything and the easy winters, that's all part of it. But you can have a 2-year-old deer and give him all the nutrition and all the crops that you can, and he's not going to have a huge rack unless you put age on him. So all these other factors that I mentioned, the age, genetics, nutrition, have to be kind of correlated together to get you that quality deer. So putting age on animals, and I think there's some parts of the state, the central part of the state here where they really manage their deer well. Some of the mule deer areas, they shoot big deer every year because they manage them for age, and they've got good nutrition there. And the genetics may be or may not be there, but as long as you put that age on and they have something of good nutrition, I mean, you're going to get some quality animals. So there's a lot of factors that go into it.
And a lot of this studying is being done by deer farmers, right? I mean, that's where a lot of the studies are being held.
Some is, a lot of this was from, they captured fawns in the South Dakota Black Hills and an eastern part of the state of South Dakota, which are prevalently had big antlered bucks. In South Dakota, the Black Hills normally did, but they were into a time frame now where they did not have very good antler growth. So they started raising these, and they put full nutrition on these animals. And then the following year, when they the does had new fawns, they did the same thing. Well, the next generation, because of the nutrition that the doe had going forward, their antler growth increased like 30% from the prior one because of the nutrition of the doe. And but this is a long-term type of study. They did studies on individual. They did fat content of these animals. They did lots of research. So it's really a neat study, and I'm partially into it. And it just shows that healthy deer will put healthy animals on the ground, and you'll have better bucks in the future.
So you said this is in the South Dakota side. Where can I get that information? Is that through SDSU, or is it through the game fish parks, or is it a combination of each?
This was through the Wyoming Cooperative Fish and Wildlife Research, Zoology and Physiology program. I think it's entitled "The Effects of Harvest Culture and Climate on Trends of the Size of Horn-like Structures in Trophy Euglets." So, I mean, it's a long title, but it's really an interesting study. And if I get a link to it or something, I will send it to you, Scott, and you can read it. It's really fascinating, actually.
Message says Dead Wolf Resistance says nice mule deer, nice deer anyway, down by the Strasburg area, and I can see that. That's nice area down that way too. I'm just trying to make sure all the messages are taken care of, all the questions here. So if anybody has, you can sure send them my way. And bigger deer. Oh, go ahead.
So I want to throw out there, we are in the midst of our hunting seasons. I shot an antelope, prior to going to Texas to our World Championship mounted shooting stuff. But people be careful out there. There's a lot of new hunters. There's a lot of stuff going on. And we heard of two outdoorsmen in Wyoming that were shot. Self-inflicted gunshot wounds, I believe. 2 of them have died this year. So that's really kind of interesting. And it was kind of interesting that lightning strikes have killed 4 hunters this year. There was 2 in Colorado that were gone, that they went missing, and they searched for them, and they were killed by lightning strikes. And 2 Florida hunters were also killed by lightning strikes. So it's really kind of a crazy year out there. So just be careful, be aware of your surroundings, and let people know where you're going so that you can, if there's any issues that come up, they can help you out too. So just want to throw that out there.
Absolutely. It's so scary, when you see that, around here, I'm in a lot of federal land, so you hear that gunshot go off. Not as much anymore. I think more and more people are using suppressors. But deer season, it's like you could hear it all over the place. Now, more grouse hunters this year, some people are saying, which is great to see, and a lot of grouse out here. But there's some great ones that pull over and get off the side of the road, and then there's some that just parked right in the middle of the road. So please try to get off the side of the road, please.
And as long as they bring you a couple grouse, you can let them hunt in your land, right?
If they bring me a grouse, they are not allowed in the shop to even look at a beer. No. I'll eat a lot of things, but grouse ain't one of them. I've tried, man. I've tried. Let's see. We got okay. All right. Ranch America. Let's talk a little bit about that here. What do you got coming up for shows around Ranch America TV? Yeah,
they started we've started the season 3. They had their first 2 episodes, I think we've had so far, if I recall. They've the Oklahoma stockyards are coming up here. Let's see, they'll be doing the Mobridge piece in in November. It's episode 7. So the Indian relays from Mobridge will be down there, coming up in November. And just the other things that we're heading out to do next year, Dillon, Montana. I also made some contacts down in East Texas at possibly some feral hog hunts, and showing how feral hogs can decimate the land overnight. These pastures and fields, these pristine fields, are just trashed overnight. So my friend that I shoot with, he invited me down to shoot some feral hogs. He said, any way you want to shoot them, we'll use thermals, we'll use, whatever it is, come on down and shoot some hogs. So maybe that's an episode for the future, going out down there. So, but been working on some things here locally with that again, and just keeping busy with most of those wanting to get out and showing where the beef comes from and the ranching aspect of things. And I still think that our season 2 was the best of all of them because it had all this North Dakota stuff in. So kind of partial to that, but it's an honest opinion for my part.
Well, if anybody has something they would like to maybe pique your interest, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. You can look me up there or call me at my phone number at 701-391-3061, or get a hold of you, or you can give my number or whatever it is, or find me around. I'm available out there. So yeah, should be good.
Yeah, it's it's very rare that it's still green in the Badlands and in most areas, but it's we still got a green tint out here. It's we had that 1.5 inches of rain here over the last few days, and nice little soaker. So it's interesting to see the difference from the last 2-3 years to this year, and hopefully that's helping out with the animals too. I think better forage, greener forage into the fall type of thing that might help out.
Right.
So, but
you know, and you mentioned me being a Pope and Young measure and these studies. I mean, this is part of why Pope and Young and Boone and Crockett work so closely with a lot of these organizations, because of the data that these organizations can give them for antler size and number of entries and what's happening in certain areas. So when you talk about these studies and big deer and how to get big deer and what's happening in areas, that's part of what Pope and Young and Boone and Crockett do. So if you do get a big animal and you want to enter it, call me for Pope and Young. If it's Boone and Crockett, I can direct you and having somebody score that too. So just keep that in mind. I think that's always good.
What's the biggest deer you ever scored whitetail?
Whitetail. Boy,
Did it make over 200?
No, I've never scored one over 200.
Okay.
No, and I've scored the Dakota Deer Classic years ago when they had them in town here, and it was like, my God, I would score like 75, 100 deer, in a weekend. It was like, oh, after a while they all look the same.
Yeah.
But the biggest mule deer I've ever scored was one taken. It was the premier tag out of Alberta, Canada, and it was a non-typical. It was 257 inches.
Wow.
And it was taken by Jimmy John's.
Really?
Yes, it was. So, and then he's well known for buying these tags and hunting. He's a bow hunter. He's a gun hunter. He loves to get out there and do it. So, yeah, really interesting. So,
wonder if he did it really fast.
I never thought of that. I kind of walked right into that one, didn't you? Yeah.
Well, just watching a little thing on him this morning about how a lot of the stores it was going broke, and then how he turned them all around. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I was hit by a piece of lightning decades ago, so I should be okay. What are the chances of getting hit twice? So there you go. Right?
Yeah. Really?
Shouldn't get hit twice in your lifetime is what they say. I wouldn't recommend it, but
I wouldn't recommend trying.
Yeah, sure. Sitting out there with golf clubs in your hand on top of a hill.
Yeah. Well, they said that Florida and Texas and I think Colorado are some of the highest incidences of lightning strikes in the nation. So, and it's in that central part of the United States, or part of it anyway. So yeah, a lot of lightning strikes in those areas. It's kind of interesting. So
yeah, well, I tell you, you guys just got to watch the weather and get out and do it. I seen a couple of hunters yesterday. They were heading north into some federal, walking up that way, and not sure what they were going after. But today or the tomorrow is the last day of pronghorn antelope for both North and South Dakota. So good luck to those folks that are going to be out there trying to find. I guarantee those two hunters were headed into some deep stuff. They definitely weren't going after any antelope, that's for sure.
Sure. Yeah, I'm heading out antelope hunting Monday. We're going out to Montana. Have a tag out there, so we're going to head out there. So yeah, and then speaking of lightning, my dad always said, and I mentioned those Florida hunters. The Florida hunters and two of their dogs were killed by lightning. So I've always had the understanding through my dad that if lightning strikes, they'll strike a dog first before us. And we'd be out fixing fence, and we'd have some lightning go on, and he'd chase the dogs away because he said, "Yeah, when lightning gets thunder out, what does the dog do? It runs right between your legs." You know?
I never thought of that. Well, Wayne, we're up against the end, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and have yourself a great Saturday.
All right, you bet. Thanks, Scott.
Wayne Muth, you can find him on Facebook. If you have questions, comments, get in touch with me as well. Have yourself a great weekend. Eat some meat, drink some milk, and wear fur and wool, and enjoy the agricultural community. Have yourself a dandy weekend. All right. Thank you, stations. Wayne, thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Can't sit and talk with you here. I got a crew coming to go sweep these other pastures. So
you're gonna get your cattle all rounded up. And,
one bunch today and the big bunch tomorrow. So yeah.
Hey, sorry to hear that you're getting out of the cattle there.
Well, I'm still going to be doing cattle work, just not here-ish. I'm still going to be here in the area. It's just I'll be doing some day labor. I'll be fencing and cowboying for neighbors or whatever. But
sure. So are you going to you're still staying on the place there though?
Yeah,
moving out of there
as long as I'm allowed to. Yes.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah, and it's too bad. And maybe things will change here.
Never know. Never know.
Never know. Just he may look at that and say, made a big mistake trying to push Scott out.